Welcome to another Friday night. Granted, football, Tottenham Hotspur. The transfer window is shut. No more drama. It's all about what we do on the pitch now. Alan, have you recovered from last Friday's anger management?
I never have anger. Me, it's all just getting out there. I'm good. I'm always chilled. Just like to speak correctly about Ian Daniel leaving Tottenham Hotspur as a general. In general, so yeah, I'm all good.
Very good. Mark, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I think Alan's going to have another. Did you see they want 3 billion for Tottenham now? I can't see anybody buying Spurs for 3 billion. You know what I mean? Wow. Yeah, I'm good, Fel. Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Very good. Well, we may as well get straight into it. Alan, Dele Alli finally gone. It's that part of Tottenham is finally gone now. You like the rest of Twitter where it's flashbacks and memories and I miss you already.
No, not really. Yeah, I haven't put any of that out because okay, he was good for us for 2 seasons, and thank him for all that. No hard feelings, move on. But he had fallen off the cliff massively. So yeah, just looking forward to. You can say thank you for the memories and stuff like that, but to keep pining over him and all that when all you want to do is, just have Tottenham move on as a team and try and win stuff. So for people that are still going on about Dele Alli as being, oh, we miss him, this and the other. No, we don't. No, he's gone. Hopefully everything works out for him. Everything works out for us. Winners both sides. Let's just move on and think about Tottenham Hotspur rather than individual players.
Yeah, Mark, are you the same with your sentiments toward Dele?
Yeah, listen, I listened to Conte today. I think it's best for both parties. I think it's best for Dele. Hopefully he can go and resurrect his career. Not when he plays against us, because that's the Spurs thing to do, isn't it? Come and score a hat-trick against us. And the best for Tottenham, he wasn't really getting in the side. So he was sitting on the bench earning 100 grand a week. So, yeah, I think the best for both. I don't get Twitter. Everybody was like over the last year saying, oh, this, and Dele needs to go. Day after he's gone, everybody's in tears. I was reading Twitter. Some people had a tear in their eye when he went and all that. And I'm like, two faces. So no, I wish him the best of luck. He gave us kind of 2.5 years of great football. I wished he kicked on from when he was with us. It hasn't worked out, and I wish him nothing but the best, honestly. I still like him as a player. I feel sorry what happened, but we have to move forward now. Really, we have to move forward. You can't look behind now. So, yeah, good move for him, and good for us. So now we can look forward for that, So, no, I'm not crying. I'm not in tears, but enjoyed the 2.5 years that he really did give us.
Yeah, I mean, just on the player, Alan, obviously we know he's got talent when his head's in the game. This move to Everton, it was genuinely best for both worlds, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, because he played a game under Conte. I think he played 1 or 2 games under Conte. He hardly played that well. He played a little bit more under Nuno, but didn't really do well. He hardly played under Mourinho. He played a little spell under Mourinho, and then towards the end of Poch, he wasn't playing as much, and wasn't being utilised in the way he was. So that's 4 managers. Well, I won't bring Ryan Mason into it because he weren't there for that much. But when 4 managers are doing the same thing, there's there's massive underlying problems there that need to be sorted. So him as a player has to take accountability for that. We as a team need to get rid of the players that aren't doing it for us. So that not just him, other players, which we've done. So yeah, it's definitely a good thing for Spurs, and hope. Well, like I said, I wish him. He just didn't perform for us, so wish him all the best. I hope he can, get his career back to some standard that it was. But I just don't see it because, I don't know if he peaked too early or whether he's just got that bad attitude that he lets things interfere with his footballing career. It could be that, but he needed a change of scenery. We needed him and others gone, and we seem to have done good in the window of getting rid of the people who shouldn't be there, and he was one of them.
Yeah, another one, Mark. End on Belay, back to Leon.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
Listen, I think he needs to go. I think he, as gifted as he is, and I know people say he's gifted and he can do this, but I maybe saw him 5, 6, 7, 8 times be gifted. You know, how many games did he play for us? How many times did he play 90 minutes? I think that's the right move. The only downside to it is that he's still on our books, isn't he? So he still has a chance to come back to Tottenham and things. So in a way, when I look at the window, I think if I had to change things around, I would have rather him gone on a sell, Lo Celso go on a sell, and maybe Dele Alli on a loan to kind of like where Frank Lampard is. That's the only thing I would have done different, maybe. But yeah, I suppose he's gone on a loan, so we've got him off the wages, and because nobody could afford him, I think that's the only reason why. Otherwise, I think, you know, there's not even is there a buy option? I don't think there's a buy option even. So, oh, there is.
Yeah, for what we paid for him. Yeah, for what we paid
60
for
million, 65 million. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad he's gone. Hopefully he kicks on. Hopefully he learns. You know, I was listening to someone today, and they were saying, you know, maybe he goes to Lyon and he sits there and he thinks, listen, this is nowhere where I want to be. I'd rather be Premier League football, you know, because it's a much higher level. I can get in the France side and everything. And maybe he'll wake up, smell the coffee, and you never know. He could come back in June, and I don't know. But is he a Conte kind of a player? And that's the thing, you know. So let's see what he does. I'll be keeping one eye on the French league now, just to see how they do and just to see if he kind of performs now anyway. So good for us. He's off the books. That's between him and Dele, what's it, 320 grand saved a week. So yeah, good.
I don't think he'll come back to us and play in the Premier League. I don't think he's a Premier League player. I think it's just too intense for him, too fast paced, and he likes to be a bit, you know, casual and take his time. So I hope he does well at Lyon and goes back to him, and we get the money back from him and recoup, so we don't have a loss. And, you know, wish him all the best and all that. But it's definitely time to move on and change and rebuild this team.
Yeah. 2 midfielders down, Alan, and the third one was to go with Lo Celso going to Spain. I mean, that one really made your transfer window, didn't it?
It did. And it's not nothing bad on that, but like the amount of times on Twitter I said to Spurs fans, name me his best games, and all I got was 2 FA Cup games last year. For spending, I think, 45 million on him, I think it was when we bought him, or was it a little bit more than that? Or I think it was around 45 million. That's not good enough. That's not a good enough return. Yep, okay, went and done it away with Argentina, but that's Argentina. That doesn't benefit my club. Tottenham will always come first over people playing well for international teams or players, and you know, my team will always come first over players. I won't have any players. That's why I wanted Kane to go. Technically, I still want Kane to go because I think, you know, he looks elsewhere for what he can win trophies. You know, I think he's content under Conte, but he won under Nuno. So I'm getting sidetracked. But like even Kane, I will hold to a standard as well. So for Lo Celso, not good enough for Spurs. You know, it was just one of them things where it didn't work out after impressing on loan. He'd been there for far too long as well. We should have got rid of him in the summer. For me, I think quite a few of them we should have got rid of in the summer as well, but it's taken till now. But it's just one of them things where the clear out started. It looks like Conte's identified who he doesn't want, who he wants, so he can start reshaping the team in his aspect. And if we give him what he wants, he can rebuild a team. There's no reason why, although he's only got an 18-month contract with an option to extend for a year. If we give him everyone, he builds a team and all that and challenge for stuff. Why would he not want to stay an extra year or another 2 years? That's what people are not understanding. We just have to provide him. So for the players to go who looks like he doesn't want and haven't been playing under him, that's a good sign that finally a manager's being listened to rather than the sentiment and keeping these players that aren't good enough. So again, wish Lo Celso all the best, but it's not with Spurs. It's not in the Premier League.
Yeah, same for you, Mark. You happy with this loan move?
Yeah, I think so. The difference is I can't put Kane in the same sentence as Lo Celso. You know, they
player, attitude-wise,
they're millions of miles apart for me. You know, as a Spurs kind of. So yeah, happy with Lo Celso. I wish he was off our books for good. You know, but he's another one that potentially comes back. So we got that drama to deal with again. And you know what us Spurs fans are like. For now, we're all smiley, happy while they're gone. And then they come back in June and we're sitting there. And you know what Levy's like. He's not going to take a cut. So these guys have to go and perform. You know, if they don't perform, they come back for 2 years and earn 200 a week and 100 grand a week. And then we're in the same boat again. So good that he's gone. what were people saying? You know, try to get rid of, and I don't want to say they were bad eggs or they were bad in the dressing room, but you know, from what I'm reading, you know, Lo Celso used to sulk if he didn't play and if he wasn't in the first team all the time starting in, and he kind of upset the dressing room. So, you know, Conte's got his players. Like Alan said, Conte's got his players now. And it seems like people have listened now. You know, he's turned around and said, you know what? I don't need him, and him. It seems somebody's listened. Like Daniel Levy's kind of said, teacher, okay, listen, if this is what he wants. And then I think in the summer, I think you'll see 5 or 6 players coming in the summer, honestly. And I think you'll see 3 really, really kind of class elite players come with Conte. So that's where I see it happening. So, yeah, pleased with that. Which most probably I'll lead you on to the next one, was the final one, which I just didn't understand, was the heel one.
Yeah. What did you think of that, Mark? Is there any point in
listen, I like Hill. And you know, looking at him, I think he can be quite skillful when he first came, but I think he needs Premier League. You know, he really needs to kind of bulk up and everything. But you know, on the same hand, I think he's gone to familiar surrounding, keep him happy. Well, he's still a young kid, isn't he? What's he, 21? So, you know, he's gone to Valencia. Apparently he played on Wednesday night and he came out and he was really good. I looked at his stats, you know, he had lots of touches, lots of passes, and he did really well. But as we all know, those leagues are so different, aren't they, they're not as competitive as the Premier League. So I would have liked him, but where does he go? We're not going to give him to a Premier League team. So what would he have gone to the Championship? And I don't think that's what he wants to do. So Valencia, are they still in the Champions League or in the Europa Cup? In the Europa League? I'm not too sure what they're in. I think they're in something. So hopefully he'll get some time playing in that. Look, he'll play against people like Barcelona. He'll play against Atletico Madrid. So he'll play some good players. So hopefully he's going to learn his trade, you know. So I just found it strange going to a nice summer place. And when he comes back again, he won't be used to the snow and the wind and the rain and Stoke on a Tuesday night, you know.
Alan, are you the same, mate, with Brian Hill?
So he's a quality youngster. He's just not going to get the game time. So for me, he's got to go on loan to get the game time because I think he has a future. It's one of them things where, you know, you want him to, I mean, do you chuck him on loan into a Championship team where he's probably going to be suffocated? But then obviously, if you're meant to be good as a youngster, you rise to the top. You rise to the top and you prove yourself in a tougher league and all that.
Have you had a haircut, Paul? Sorry, I didn't recognise it. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's not as long.
Okay.
I had thick, wavy locks last time. That's fine.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So it just, you know, going back to a league he's familiar with to keep him happy. He does need to bulk up. I don't think he'll do it in Spain, but he's got all the ability in the world. I just think with what we've got in the team, Conte, because he was brought in before Conte, maybe Conte doesn't see a youngster in that position as what he needs. He's an incredible talent. From what I've seen of him when he comes on, I always think he does a really good job and he looks like he's got a lot of ability. It just hasn't happened for him. Hopefully, if he goes back and smashes it in Spain, that will wake Conte up. And Conte will think, okay, I've got a serious baller here. Let's get him, you know, let's get him beefed up and let him go again. But it's good that he's not just going to sit on the bench and do nothing. He's actually going to go and get football and help him develop as a player still in these next 3 or 4 months, whatever's left. So that's a good sign that we're not just going to leave him sit on the bench and do nothing. Because sometimes with Spurs, we get players, youngsters, that we just sit on the bench and they can't develop because they're doing nothing apart from maybe the odd couple of minutes here and there. So I think it's good for him as a player in his development to still go back to Spain.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, before I go to the incomings, Steve Hitchen actually quitting and leaving the club. What are your thoughts on him?
You know, I'm torn between this because, you know, he brought in some good players, but then he's also had a couple of shockers recently. So I'm torn, you know, and I'm not going to sit here and go back and say, oh, Steve Hitchen, you know, you know, in this game, you live and die by your dealings, don't you? So if you look in the last 3 years, and Conte said it today, if you look in the last 3 years, the players that we bought, if you're sending those players already out in loan, somewhere along the line, you've made mistakes. Yeah. So if you've got your top players that you've brought in who are paying the most, paying the most amount of money, if you're already after 2 years, a year, sending them out on loan, there's some mistakes being made. And that's, I think he was digging out the scouting. I would think he was digging out partially Daniel Levy as well, which I'm quite surprised on, because there was kind of undertones. Listen, you got Paratici there. What was he doing? From all I heard, he took over sports science and things like that. So I don't think that's what he wants to do. He's already been touted for Everton and Newcastle now. So I don't think he'll find it difficult to get a job, because I think he's good at what he does. He's brought in some class players for us. Let's not but I just think the last couple of years maybe he hasn't. And the other side of it is he's brought players to us that we could have signed and we haven't signed, like the Grealishes, maybe Ruben Diaz, Fernandez and things like that. And he's brought them to us where we could have signed them and we didn't. So, fair play to him, and I think he's just got to a point where he doesn't see a future for himself. Paratici's the main guy there now. So a bit sad, because I think he did some good work there with us.
Alan, I can see you poised to give us your Steve Hitchens statement. What did you think when you saw the news?
No, for me, I thought I saw it coming. Like Mark said, I agree. He done some good things for us. He also brought in some shockers. I think the last couple of years wasn't as good as what it was in the beginning. Could say that's to do with Daniel Levy or the club as a whole, rather than just him. But when you've got a new, like when you've got Paratici in and all that, you're gonna have people pull in different directions, what they think is best, or who they want to bring in. So he's gone, and now it's all under one person and all that. So hopefully that would have a more streamlined effect for Spurs and who we're going to bring in, and a clear plan for the future, rather than different people bringing different ideas. So hopefully it's beneficial to Spurs. And yeah, it's just one of them things where we just focus on one train of thought and who they want to get in. It looks like it's done, for him to go, so that there's clearly going to be an Italian connection for the Italian league, where we're going to go after players from there. That's what it looks like. And maybe Steve Hitchens would have gone from different areas, but it looks like that's what they want to focus on. Conte and Paratici building a team from players from Italy. So it looks like that's the idea they want to go with. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, Mark, they've already been to Italy now, straight to Paratici's old club. 2 signings from Juventus. Do you know anything about them, Kulusevski and Bentancur?
Kulusevski, I don't know if you guys have seen the All or Nothing about Juventus. I don't know if it was the 2020 season. They've got it on Prime. So that's the first time I actually saw him. Youngster and everything, started to get a bit of game time, and he actually did quite well. I like the looks of him. And look, some of the Swedish players, look at it. If he can be 75% like Ibrahimovic, we've got a player on our hands. And by all accounts, I think Conte was talking about him today. Conte's saying that he can play 3 different positions. He can play right wing, he can play inside, and he can play right wing back. So that must be music to his ears. And looking at Instagram and he seems to have taken to London quite well. He seems to be out and about in restaurants. Golini's letting him kip over at his house and everything. And apparently the lads have welcomed him. He's young, his English isn't too bad either. And yeah, listen, the proof's in the pudding. You do it in the Italian league. Okay, you can be quite good, Juventus, but you got to come to the Premier League, and that's going to be. It'll be interesting to see if he gets 15-20 minutes tomorrow. I don't think he'll start, but it'd be nice just to see him get out and about at Spurs, home crowd and everything. So I'm excited about him. It gives us different choices. You know what I mean? You don't get bought by Juventus at that age and play for Juventus if you crap. I'm sorry. These are kind of super football teams. Juventus are one of the top 10 teams in the world. You know what I mean? So yeah, you don't just go there if you're not good.
Yeah, Alan, anything about Bentancur? Do you know anything about him?
I only know, to be honest, I only know a little bit about him. I know the type of player he is in midfield and all that. And for me, from what I've seen of him in the short bits and that, it looks like he's better than what we've got currently there. Mm-hmm. So, not in the fact that, I think if you're just saying about breaking up play and all that, you'd probably give it to Hojbjerg. But everything else, which, let's be honest, with what we've been missing in the centre of midfield, I remember the game against Chelsea. The amount of times it came to Hojbjerg and Skip and the misplaced passes put straight back under pressure. Bentancur looks like he's a guy that can carry the ball and pick a pass and to get us further up the pitch, which is what we've been crying out for. So, love the fact that we've got him in. He scored a banger for Uruguay as well last night. Was it last night or the night before?
Yeah, first minute.
Yeah. So, he looks like he's a good player with confidence and he's not afraid to take things on. So that's good. I like the fact that we brought two people in from the same team. So familiarity to help bed into the team quicker, because Kulusevski's a young lad, but he's also, I like the look of him because he's not, one of these wonder kids that are all really skinny and scrawny. He's a very big guy. So he looks like he can handle himself and he's not going to be pushed off the ball, brush off the ball and all that. Lots of developing to do. People that know him have said that we've got two really good signings for the money we're spending and all that. So I mean, Kulusevski's Kulusevski. Which one's loaned? I can't remember now. I always get my
Kulusevski. Yeah. Bentancur we bought.
Kulusevski's loaned and all that. So hopefully, if he can play in those three different positions, Conte can find a place for him and he can just get straight in it. If he can play right wing back and he's better than what we've got, instantly he's in there. Let's get him on. Let's get him full time and all that because our right wing back position's a joke. So it's very promising. Let's just hope that we have some luck with signings now that don't just do nothing and then go in a couple of years. Well, it's been quite some time since we've had a player come in and transform the team. So hopefully it's a promising situation.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, do you see these as Conte signings or do you think they're Paratici signings for Conte?
I think that Paratici kind of got them. I think Conte's given the nod, if I'm honest. I don't think we would have taken them if Conte didn't want them. So, because that's where we are now with Conte. Everything has to run through him. So I think he gave the nod. I think, I listened to him today and he said, and I love the word he used. He said, Tottenham now, it's more complete. If you look at the team, it's more complete than when it was now that we've got rid of those four and we've brought in the two. So the only position when you look at our team that we don't have two players for is Kane. And I think the window would have been the cherry on top if we had to get somebody like kind of a Dybala up top there with those two. Now we've got two, right wing back. We've still got Emerson and Doherty. So it's not like we've got great and then, we've got good. But yeah, I think these guys are going to be good for us. And I think Conte's content from what I'm reading, when you listen to Alistair Gold and people like that, he's content. He's not over the moon, jumping up and joy and doing, star jumps and all that. But I think he's content because I think he's waiting for the summer. He's talked all along how difficult January can be. Couple of opportunities came along. I think, they're a little bit gutted with the, the Portuguese lad or the what's the name lad that's playing in Portugal, Diaz, that went to Liverpool. I think, he's a little bit gutted because I think he would have liked him. But yeah, I think overall now he's going to knuckle down and he's going to train the team, I think. So, let's see how we get on till summer now. This is the second half of our season, isn't it?
All I want is, because obviously we've got the second half of the season now, you've got Paratici, you've got Conte, you've got, what we need to do now is, while we're carrying on with the season, you need to get a plan in place. So when the summer transfer window opens, none of this waiting months or waiting for 4 or 5 weeks and all that to get into the transfer window. So you can hit the ground running, know what you want, identify the players. So if you do get, you can catch teams cold. So if you go after, because Luis Diaz, by all counts and all that, if we had probably got ready and all that, Liverpool, we would caught him out and we may have signed him. There's all that was. But when you leave it that late and Liverpool react instantly because they know they need it and all that, it's just Spurs need to act quick and fast and with efficiency in transfer windows because we always leave it to the last minute and it's always a scramble And then there's times where we end up with duds because we just buy too late and have to fill square pegs and round holes. And it's a continual thing for Spurs. I want us to act like a proper club. And just as soon as the summer transfer window opens, identify who we want, go out there, here's the money, get done, rather than transfers taking 4 to 5 weeks as well. Because I don't see any other team doing that. Liverpool took Luis Diaz off us and had him within 2 or 3 days. Why can't we do that? That's what I want for the summer transfer window. And if we act properly and we get the signings we want and spend the money, then who knows under Conte? But we've just got to act like a big club. We really do. We've got to stop this stupidity in the way we do business.
Yeah, I mean, we did with, obviously, I think Kulusevski and Bentancur, what was that, 3-4 days maybe when the first link had come out. I mean, I asked Mark that question, Alan, about Paratici signings or Conte, because for 24, 25 days we were chasing Adama Traore.
Yeah.
And then to end up with Kulusevski is a better player than Adama Traore. Does it make you feel a bit, not a panic signing, because obviously Paratici's bought him for Juventus before, but would Conte have had much say in that, or do you think he would have had to go to Conte and say, look, Adama's gone now, Kulusevski here, go for him, do you want him?
So for me, like I said last week, for me, Adama Traore was not a Conte signing because we were going after him under Nuno. So for me, that was a Daniel Levy signing, or a Nuno wanted. No, actually, I don't know if Nuno wanted him, but I think it was more of a Bald signing or a Daniel Levy signing. So for me, that was not his signing. Kulusevski seems more of a him signing. Like, not that he probably went, I need him. That Paratici was like, well, we can get from Juventus, we can get these two, and I think Conte signed off on it because that's why they're there. It could be that they panicked and wanted bodies in because they left it too late. It could be that, but then again, I think Conte knows he can use these two. So for me, the two signings we've got in is a positive. I just hope that if they do come in and bed into the team well, or they do get game time rather, so they can bed into the team rather than being left on the bench as a backup option. Because if you bring Kulusevski in and he can play left side, right side, or right wing back, and he can push other people in those positions to perform well, that's good. Bentancur, if he can come in and do really well and have the likes of Højbjerg step up his game or Skip improve as well, then that's always good. That's going to be a benefit. But we weren't having that because we were just keeping the same style players all the time. So for me, these are probably still Paratici signings, but Conte said, yes, I want them. And that's why we've got them.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, do you see him bringing Kulusevski in as a right wing back? Do you think he'll put him in, keep Lucas at right wing and have an extra attacking threat there? Or do you see maybe a change of formation? Do you see maybe 3 in midfield now we've got Bentancur? How do you think Conte's going to approach these matches coming up?
Look, I still think he needs to play the 3-5-2. I think that's the best we've ever looked when we play 3-5-2. And I think I have to agree with Conte. Look at me agreeing with Conte. God, it's like me agreeing with Alan, isn't it? It's
how dare you, Mark? How dare
I know. Look, I put you on the same level as Conte. Look at that. You should
I'll say that. Actually, I'll say that.
Yeah, you should take that. No, I think listening to him today, he feels he's got options now. He feels his team is a lot more complete. He couldn't just go to Dele Alli and say, "Hey, Dele, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me?" He couldn't get out of Ndombele and all that. And like we all said, I think he feels Brian Hill is maybe he's a little bit young. He's inexperienced, and he needs to go get some experience. And I think. Kulusevski, he can go and play 3 positions. So, he could. I don't think he'll use him as a right wing back. I really don't. That's not his main position, if I'm honest. He's more on the right, like where Lucas is. So I'll be very surprised if he would play him and Lucas. He could do, but I don't think. In what I've watched of him and on the last All or Nothing with Juventus, he's not the kind of guy that's going to track back, track forward, track back, track forward. So yeah, I would be very surprised if he does that. But overall, I do think he'll still keep the 3-5-2, and I think that's the best way we can play at the moment. That's our strength, especially with Romero coming back, Dyer sitting there and people like that. So
Yeah, just answer. It was a very good birthday. Thank you very much. 18 years old. Lucky me.
Plus 12.
Anyway,
got a hard paper round, haven't you?
very hard paper round.
What year? How old were you on your birthday?
31.
How old?
31 I was, Alan.
Oh, you're a baby still. Oh,
Goodness me.
Right, less of that. Stop complimenting me, please, gentlemen.
Oh.
Alan, what
I
about
haven't
you?
complimented you.
I'll take it, Mark. I hear things I want to hear.
Yeah.
What do you think, Alan? Obviously, I know the formation. You're the same as Mark. The 3-5-2 formation is your favourite, and you think we play better than that. But how do you think he will line up? Do you think he'll be a straight? Do you think he'll keep the two in midfield, have a straight shootout with Bentancur, Skip, Højbjerg, and you have to throw Winks in there. He's kept Winks, so you have to keep him there.
I don't know. He seems to favour the 3-4-3 with Spurs, but we've seen when we come up against the big teams, we get overrun in midfield. I think for me, we do look better with the 3-5-2. I've said that since he's come, since Conte's come in, like when we've changed between the 3-5-2 and the 3-4-3. So it just depends on whether he's going to have it where he's got enough, where Mark said, and obviously he says the team's more complete. Whether it's going to be because the team's more complete, he can adapt the team as it goes along. I think, it's one of them where if we do go with the 3-5-2, for me, Bentancur just go straight in alongside of Højbjerg and Skip. Winks you'd have on the bench. If he does go with the 3-4-3, then still I would put Bentancur in with Skip, and then because let's be honest, Højbjerg has underperformed massively this season compared to last season. It could be because he's overplayed and tired, but for me, I just think his levels dropped off. So I would have Bentancur in with Skip. You're going to pay to have that player come in. I want to see him playing and transforming that team and pushing the team forward, because in that midfield, it's been stale for some time. Not saying that the players have got bad, but, you just need to be able to keep hold of the ball, retain the ball, and transition up the pitch, whether you have him carrying or like through quick passing on the pitch, but we don't seem to do that. For me, 3-5-2 has to be the correct one, but then that means probably more drops out because Son and Kane haven't been that good this season. I know they've got the majority of goals, but the performance haven't been there for them. But for some reason, names don't get dropped in Spurs. It's always keeping the names on. But then if he goes for the 3-4-3, you've got attacking options. And if it's Kulusevski, who's on the right wing back, for me, if he performs, then it's an improvement. And obviously, for me, it has to be regular on the left-hand side. There's loads of attacking options there. But with the three up front as well, the thing that I say, if you have one more in the middle and only have two up front, you don't overcrowd up front because you get the wing backs on. If there's three, it always seems to be a bit congested up there, and when they go or whenever. But when you've only got two up front, there's much more room for the wing backs to get up, and you've got more people in the midfield to stop a quick counter attack as well. So that's why I think, especially for Spurs and the defence we have, and it's been shaky at times, and the midfield hasn't been that good. That's why the 3-5-2 works for us. Yeah,
I mean the Bentancur, Mark, that signing's really got to shake up Højbjerg. Like Alan said, as much as we do rate him, we've seen him play well for Spurs this season. He's been sloppy, maybe playing a bit tired, but surely a player like that coming in's got to shake him up, and we'll see better of him now.
Yeah, but I think he's a different player to Højbjerg, isn't he? He's not the same kind of player. I agree with Alan. If we go 3-4-3, I'd leave Højbjerg out, put him on the bench. 2-0 up, 70 minutes, 20 minutes to go. You throw one of them off and you bring Højbjerg on, and you just, you close the game down, and you manage it. And we need to get better at managing games. We need to go out and attack. We need to take the lead. We need to go up 2-0. And then once we get to 2, we need to start managing games better. And we've got some of the players sitting on the bench where we can manage those games. But I still believe he'll go 3-5-3. And I'm with Alan. I think you'll have Bentancur in the middle, and you'll have Højbjerg and Skip. You'll have Sonny and Kane up front, and you'll have the three at the back. And I think that's where you are. And I think that's where we are a lot better. We've got great pace. I don't know how these boys run. I've not seen them run, but by all accounts that Bentancur, he's quite quick, he's quite nippy, he's around, but he's a completely different player to Højbjerg. So if you're going to play him instead of Højbjerg. I think it's a different game you're playing. I don't think he has the same qualities. I think Bentancur loves to go forward a lot more than Højbjerg does. Højbjerg's not, he's the dustman. He mops up everything, whereas this boy's got an engine on him as well, this Bentancur. He can run, and you can see in the first minute he was up in the big box, wasn't he? And he scored the goal for Uruguay. And they play different to us anyway. They got some class players as well. But it'll be interesting to see. I think, listening to his comments today, I think he's got options now, which is great. And even he's excited about it. So I haven't seen any videos where they did training. I don't think they've released any videos yet. So it'd be interesting. Oh, they have. Have you seen anything?
Kulusevski, yes.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I didn't see any. I thought they would have done something this evening, like on the training today. But it's going to be interesting to see tomorrow. Yeah, I'm excited about watching the game. Hopefully it's not going to be a damn squid and we lose 3-0 or something. We're all sitting there going, kind of thing.
Well, before I get on to Brighton, Alan, obviously transfer window's shut now. Arsenal didn't sign anyone. They let Aubameyang go, and
they signed Austin Trusty because they trusted the process over there. Good for them. So yeah, big moves for Arsenal. Sorry.
They signed the MLS centre back, but he's not even here now. He's not coming till the summer. West Ham didn't sign anybody. Man U didn't sign anybody. I'll add Chelsea into that because we're near around them. But does these signings give us the edge top four now? Do you have a bit more hope going into the rest of this season for top four?
Well, I wouldn't say an edge because they've got to adapt and stuff like that. They could hit the ground running and give us that edge. It could be these type of things that help transform, to help rejuvenate the team. It could be that they do all right and it's just one of them still, uncertain who's going to get the top four because they're still bedding in and stuff like that. A team keeping the same. I mean, Arsenal for me are really thin now. So an injury to a key player. I mean, they're struggling to score without Aubameyang. He's gone now. They were struggling to score against Burnley, so they've got problems. Man United look good, like in bits again, like tonight, but it's only against Middlesbrough. But they haven't played well under Ragnick. So Chelsea, I think, are just too far away from us. We're not going to catch them. And West Ham still are doing good, but they've got European football. And then you got us, who people say we've got the best manager. The squad has probably one of the worst out of the other teams. So we brought new players in. For me, it's still one of them you'll have to wait and see, because as good as we can be at times, we can be quite poor as well. So for me, it's still close to call on who's going to get that full space. I can see it going one of three ways. I think West Ham will be sidetracked by European football the longer they go into it. I think they'll drop off, but I think it's still between any one of the three. But if the players come in and do really well, then, like I said, Conte's got the players in. If they come in and do well, then for me, I would say gut instinct would say Spurs would get top four, but it can go anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Mark, what's your feeling on the top four chances?
Yeah, top four, we've got it. It's in the bag. It's in the bag, mate. Yeah, positive. Here we go.
So this is the positive on here, but in the group chat, he's anything but positive.
Listen, I haven't been negative for 2 weeks, so come on, get over yourself.
We haven't played for 2 weeks, Mark. That's the reason.
I think we've got I think we've got the best chance going forward. Alan just mentioned Man United. I don't think Man United has been playing well at all. I think they're in disarray. I think there's a lot of inbiting. I think there's a lot of fighting around. Certain players aren't happy. They're not playing. I got it in the background. They 4-4 on penalties at the moment, with Middlesbrough about to kick. And I don't see them. Listen, they will always be a threat because they're Man United and they get dodgy decisions all the time. Arsenal, I agree with Alan. I think Arsenal are, they're yesterday's news. And I think by not having Aubameyang, they have weakened themselves as much as we hate them. I think, somebody like him, he can turn a game on its head. West Ham, bless them, they're having their best season, aren't they? I think they're going to run out of gas. So, I think it's all for us. And, our 3 games or 4 games against Chelsea that are or in hand against Chelsea, I think they all kind of bottom table teams except for Arsenal, aren't they?
No, Man City. in the
Was Man
next.
City postponed?
Yeah, we've got 2 games in the Premier League, and then we've got Man City. So we've got Brighton, 2 games in the Premier League, and then Man City.
No,
So,
I get that. But the games in hand, so games in hands that were postponed.
yeah, oh no, so they are against bottom teams, but I think we'll play the games. We'll play the same amount of games by the time Chelsea come back from World Club Championship. So I think we'll be level on games. So Man City, that's why I'm including them in that, because we will play them in the time we get to the same
we
amount
beat
of
them
games.
We beat them once a season anyway. So
that was at home. They're a bit harder
we are
away.
their bogey team. We are their bogey team, aren't they? So no, I'm confident. I think Conte now. He actually started smiling today. He had a nice trim. Did you see? He looked quite trim and everything. I think it's he's ready for the second season. So yeah, I think we'll get top 4, and I think we need top 4 because if we want Summer to go the way we all want it to go, I think it hinges on that. We get top 4. I think we get 5 class or 5 great players, but 3 maybe class because we've got Champions League. We get top 6 where it's Europa. We get 5 players, but maybe not the 3 marquee. We don't get it. And then, I think Conte walks, So I think, Champions League, it's Champions League or bust, to get those marquee signings. And if we get that, I think, I think we will be backed. And I think they'll back Conte, now that we've got rid of some players. The problem is that we still don't own Romero. So if he does play well, we've still got to buy him. So that's 40-something million that still has to come out of that kitty.
Yeah, it's the same with Kulusevski. He'll cost board. That's 80 million gone with them too.
Yeah, but he's on an 18-month loan. So we don't have to buy him in the summer.
I think the deal was if we get Champions League this season, it becomes.
Oh, does it? Okay. Yeah, maybe. So so that's where we are at the moment. So God, what's the Middlesbrough goalkeeper doing? He's jumping over the bloody ball. So that's where we are.
This is Grounded Football Tottenham, Mark, not live ITV commentary.
No, but it's in the background. Yeah, all right. Sorry.
Oh, well, Alan, we talk about top 4. Would you go all out for the FA Cup as well? Would you try and break that trophy down? And obviously, I ain't got Man U on. I don't know if penalties is finished or if it's still going
penalties.
on. Would you go all out for the FA Cup or would you solely focus on the top 4?
Well, for me, it's both. I want the top 4 for Champions League, but as a Spurs fan, all I want is trophies. For people, there are some Spurs fans out there like, I don't mind about trophies when we get top 4. No, we need trophies. We haven't had the trophy since 2008. So for me, it's always about the trophies. And I'm greedy. I want top 4. I want the FA Cup. Next season, I want to win them all. That's just me as a Spurs fan because, we've been starved of success for so long. So, it's only down to the league and the FA Cup now. So it's not like we've got loads of games. We're not in Europe and all that. So for me, I don't understand. For me, it's one of them things. It's easily done. We've got a team that can do both as well. We've got, a decent enough squad size-wise to be able to compete on both fronts because it's just the Premier League and FA Cup now. So if European football was in there, then I'd probably say we need to focus on one cup rather than the other because, on 3 different things. But because we're out of Europe now, League Cup we're out of, there's no reason why we can't focus on both. Obviously, we're not favourites for FA Cup because we haven't won it for some time and we've not one of the best teams left in. But I always want to see us challenge on every front. So top 4 I'll take, and if I'll FA Cup, if I had to choose between the 2, I couldn't give you that at the moment in time because I want a trophy, but I also want top 4. So I'm going to be greedy and take both. Don't make me choose.
I'm the same, Alan. I think that we are good enough to challenge for both without having to prioritise. Mark, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, no, I want both, but if you put me on the spot and a loaded gun to my head and you say you can only have one this season, I'd rather have top 4 because that's how we're going to get our marquee signings in the summer. I get it. I want a trophy, don't get me, but that's next season when we've got the marquee signings, we've got Conte and he's going for it. But I'd love the FA Cup, don't get me wrong, and I'd love him to go for it. But if I could only choose one, I'd go top 4 because I think that's when he gets backed in the summer and that's when we get the real cream of the crop because now you're playing Champions League and that's where players want to be. So, yeah.
That's fair.
United are out. United are out.
Oh, they really?
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. Don't celebrate because we have a hard game tomorrow. A
We
very
have.
hard game.
I'm only personally celebrating because my brother's a Man U fan, so it's a bit of.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But going on to
Shout out
tomorrow-
Terry Fleurs.
Yeah.
Man United
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll have a look at the football terrace after this. See how
See how they're
good-
coping.
Alan, talking of tomorrow's game, obviously, like I say, Brighton are a very, very good technical side with a very good young manager. Transfer-wise, obviously, they sold Dan Burn to Newcastle. I'm not too sure about the injuries, if they've got any, but how do you see tomorrow's game going?
It's going to be a very tough game. I said on shout out Football Wars Twitter space. I said on there earlier on this week, I fear Brighton more than I fear Arsenal at this time. You know, I really do, because Graham Potter is overachieving with a very a team that shouldn't be where they are. They haven't got a striker and they're still where they are in the league. I said if they had a top striker that would get 15, 20 goals a game, I would see them challenging for top four as well. I think they're doing that well under Potter. So I know they got rid of Dan Burn, but people thought they were going to suffer when they got rid of White, and they haven't really. They've got good players like wing backs like Lowe, or on the wing like Lamptey and Cucurella. I think Cucurella is a quality left back. They've got a good team and they play good football. It's a great system, so it's going to be a hard game. I will take a dodgy 1-0 or 2-1 win. You know, just by however you want to do it, just get over the line, get a goal, and see them out, because we've also got them twice in the league still to come, because we haven't played them at all this season, as far as I'm aware. One of the games got postponed, so yeah, just get the win, get through to the next round. That's what I'll do, because they are a very decent team.
Yeah, Mark, is that how you see it?
I think it's going to be a cagey affair, but I think if we come out and we play to our potential, I think we take the game to them at home. I think we run out comfortable 3-0 winners, but I agree with Alan. I think Potter's got them playing really, really well. But I think man for man, if we play to our potential, if Conte gets the best out of each individual player and we play as a team, I think we smash them. Honestly, I don't think they're in the same league as us. However, I agree with Alan. I think what Potter's done to it and what the individuals, how they play, because they play as a team. They really play as a team. They are all fighting for each other. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Alan. I think I'd love to say it's going to be a 3-0 win, but I think it's going to be a cagey affair. I think he's got them playing really well. We're coming back. We're fresh. Hopefully Romero slots in. Sonny comes in. Hopefully this break that they've had will add to them wanting to come back. Hopefully they'll be hungry for it now. Hopefully him and Kane get together. If Bentancur does come in and he does play 3-5. Listen, I think on our best day, I think we beat them quite comfortably. But Tottenham on their best day, we get them once every 10 games maybe. So yeah, it's cagey affair. I think it will be quite close.
Yeah. In the summer when we were linked managers, I said I don't think Potter's the man for us. I don't think he's at that level and all that. I would openly take it back. I would have taken Potter. The style of ball he plays for the team he's got. I think if he had a better team, he could that would be able to fit to his system. I think he would. I think he could win trophies. I think he's that good a manager. So I'll take that back. And then also, we're a positive for me. Look at the second half of the season is we are where we are in a league with probably a misfire in Son and Kane as a partnership this season. Haven't done it at all. Haven't done the ground running. If we can get that level out than we did under Mourinho, then for me, top four would be a certainty. But we've got to get them firing, which they haven't. So hopefully, the second half of the season, we can kick on and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how do you see us lining up tomorrow, Alan? Obviously, like Mark said, Romero's back. Dyer should be fully fit. He should come straight in. Reguilon's hopefully back to full fitness. Do you see Bentancur or Kulusevski starting tomorrow, or do you think they'll come off the bench?
So as far as I'm aware, Do we have any injuries? I think we're good.
Yeah, all fully fit squad.
Yeah.
So fully
everybody's
fit
good.
squad. What I would like to see is because for me, our defenses look quite shaky recently. So I would have your Romero, your Dyer. I don't know who they're going to put in alongside there. I don't know if they go Sanchez, probably Sanchez or Tanganga.
No,
It would be.
Oh, I think I'll go
Oh, Ben
Davies.
Davies. Sorry, I forgot about Ben
Yeah.
Davies.
Oh, don't you
He's
dare
forgetful.
mention Davis.
He's forgetful, isn't he? He's really forgetful. Probably it'll probably be him. Then I would have on the right wing back.
Empty. Just go with 10 men. Just go with leave the right wing back slot.
Or go left hand side. Just go left on the left wing. No, for me, Doherty, Royal. I think I would have to say Doherty on that right side for now. Kulusevski, I think, but both Kulusevski and Bentancur will start on the bench. On left wing back for me has to be Reguilon. Then you'd have the same in midfield: Højbjerg, Skip, and it would be Winks now because I'd have the 3 in midfield and I'd go 2 up top because then that way you control the midfield. You've got 2 up front and you can have the wing backs going on with all the space that there is there, and then bring on Bentancur and Kulusevski. Obviously, Lloris in goal because he's the only one keeper we've got. I know Galini won't even talk about him. But that's how I would line up. If he wants to bring on a start with a new person like Kulusevski and all that, I'm all for it. If he wants to try him on the right wing back, why not? Because let's be honest, that's a really weak position for us. I wouldn't mind trialing him even in the FA Cup game because I think it's going to be one of them games where both teams back and all that. It's going to be one of them cage games anyway. But apart from that, I think it's going to be the same as what it has been recently.
Well, go back to last week's show, Alan. Do you not think there's any chance of Tanganga? Do you think he might not try him at right wing back? The other 2 aren't performing. Do you think he'll go there or?
Well, that's the thing. I think he would perform well there. When he came into us, it was right back. But for some reason, I don't see Conte thinking that. But when he came into us and started at right back, he played really well. Centre back for me is not his position because he can defend, but he's powerful at running with the ball and he can get up and he's not afraid to take players on. We saw it like when he first came into the team. So I'd give him a shot in the right wing back for sure, but I just don't think Conte will. I think Conte will, for some reason, he'll go with either Royal or Doherty. Both of them haven't really performed for Spurs, but then people could say, well, Tanganga hasn't performed recently for us. But I think in the back 3, you get some defenders that play. Dyer in the back 2 isn't at that level. He looks much more assured in the back 3, Dyer. So I think playing the right system with the right people around you can improve you dramatically as a player. If you play in the right system for you. So Tanganga, I would give him a trial right wing back actually as well. So yeah, I'd probably start him. That would be my starting lineup.
Yeah, Mark, how do you think we'll line up tomorrow?
Yeah, I think obviously Lloris in goal. I would do the Romero, Dyer, Davis. I think Sanchez has travelled back from Colombia, so I think he'll be knackered anyway. Emerson Royal, he got red carded in the first game, didn't he? So did he come back to Spurs because he couldn't play on Wednesday, or did he stay out there with the team?
He can stay out there.
No, did he? I'm not asking. He can.
In Brazil.
But did he stay out with the Brazilian team, or did he come back? I don't know.
I imagine he would have come back, to be honest. So,
well, if he stayed with him, I see Doherty starting just because the 12-hour flight or whatever it is, and so they were in on Thursday, maybe getting conditioned, and then today they trained. So I would see Doherty because Doherty's been with him for the last 2 weeks, so he's probably been training with them. Do you know what? I would throw Bentancur straight in. I'd leave Winks on the bench. And I know he's been to Uruguay and everything, but he got subbed, I think, at the 70th minute or 76th minute. So I'd play Højbjerg, Skippy, and Bentancur. I'd have Reguilon and Doherty. Yeah, and Sonny and Kane. Lucas to come on. Winks to come on if Bentancur's a little bit tired. And yeah, I play like that. And Kulusevski to come on if Royal starts. Not Royal. Doherty doesn't perform, then we can bring him on. Yeah, things like that. Let's see how it goes.
Would you not rather Lucas start? Obviously, I know Alan said it already. Names come above performances, unfortunately, at Tottenham. While Sonny's been out, Lucas has been our best player with Son in the side.
Yeah.
Do think it's fair to drop him and bring Son straight in, or
I'd bring Son straight back. He's hungry, you know. Let him go out, give him the thing, and say, listen, now get out there and go score now. Now's your chance. You know, he's been out for a month. He's missed 7-8 games. Go out now. You and Kane, go. Second part of the season, you know, he's been training for the last 2 weeks. Hopefully built up his fitness. Now go. You know, no disrespect to Lucas. Lucas has been one of our best players, him and Loris and everything. However, you know, Sonny on his day, you know, Lucas isn't anywhere near him, is he? So, you know, go and get him. Listen, 60th minute, if he's not performing, he's blowing, you bring Lucas on. You know, you change it up. And that's what we need to do. You know, and I think this is where Conte will see things happening. He will change it up, you know, and that's one of the things I know people still criticizing, but that's one of the things I did like about Mourinho he was never scared to change something. You know, he would do it at halftime. He would do it in the first half if he thought it was necessary. Whereas I think some managers, they wait and they wait and they wait and they wait too long. And then you sit there and it's the 70th minute. And I think they're too scared to do it because they're so used to certain players. So yeah, no, I don't see a wholesale difference to what Alan said, but I would start Bent. I would put him on, you know, no reason why not to. And then after 60 minutes, if you feel he's huffing and puffing, then you can bring it. Hopefully you've scored a couple of goals and then you can bring Winksy on and, you know, we can just manage the game and control it from there. My big concern I have out of everything is the whole Kane thing. You know, I love Kane and all that, but, you know, he's got glass ankles, you know, and he's played every single game for us. And it's getting to a point, this run-in now, it's the one that worries me.
For me, I mean, I know when you asked me about saying what I think he'd go with, I said something Kane just because I think that's what he'll go with. But arguably, our best outfield player this season has been Mora. I think for me, our player of the season has been Lloris. Yeah. You know, Lloris has always got those calamitous errors so far. Touch wood, he hasn't done that so far this season. Really, he's actually been probably the best I've seen him for some years. But outfield player, Mora has been our best player for me. He's the one who's been able to take the ball, turn, drive, you know, do things that others haven't because it's been so slow and that. But, you know, that's why I would still stick with Mora. But I think he's just going to put Son and Kane in.
Yeah, well, Alan, obviously, if he does that, if he goes with Son and Kane, is it something that we've been crying out for to look at the bench if you're 0-0 or 1-0 down and see Lucas and Kulusevski and Bergwijn, even Bergwijn, he's still there. Is that something we've been missing, them options off the bench to come on and change the game?
Yeah, I think so. But for me, the biggest option that you need is a second striker on the bench because Bergwijn, it's good having Bergwijn more on like their wingers. Same Kulusevski, they're more wingers. So, you know, if you want to bring on a second striker or, you know, then you have a target man, people more in the box ready to pounce and score, more clinical, but wingers aren't as, you know, people didn't go, but Bergwijn scored 2 goals, okay, but before that he had scored 1 or 2 in the calendar year, you know, so you need, for me, an extra striker on the bench, but we've got options with speed, you know, you've got Bergwijn speedy, Lucas Moura speedy, and Kulusevski. We'll see how he adapts, but we do have options up and around the front line. But for me, we would still need that second option as a striker, but it's not as bad as it has been.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, before we finish off, back to the predictions, second half of the season. See if any of you can catch me now. See if we can keep it as it is. What we're going for, Mark?
What, tomorrow's game? Yeah, you want tomorrow's game and Wednesday's game? Yeah. So tomorrow I'm gonna go. I don't want them to score, but we always let one in, don't we? So I'm gonna go 3-1 Spurs. Kane to score first.
Kane to score first. I mean, if it's up to you two, I'm happy to take the Southampton prediction on Wednesday. See if you get a better idea of what starting lineup.
Are we home? Are we home with Southampton? Yeah. So I'll go 2-0 Southampton.
With the Southampton game, shall we not leave it? Because obviously you could pick up, if you say and pick a scorer, you may have different options. So I'm more than happy to wait until closer to the game because you may have different personnel come in and stuff like that. So
we might get Messi on a free.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean. But like, if pick a top score, like first scorer against Southampton, they might get injured, touch, but they don't. But so I'll go for a 2-1
Yeah.
against Brighton.
How much?
2-1 against Brighton and Son.
2-1. And Son, yeah.
I'm going 2-0 to Spurs against Brighton, and I will go for Reguilon.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
You've had one too many beers tonight, mate.
No,
Look at you.
I'm going to go for Sergio Reguilon, first goal
Wow.
scorer tonight.
Well, he needs to score, eh?
Yeah, I think the way he gets forward at the minute and the way Lamptey gets forward for them, he's not tracking Reguilon back when he gets forward. There's no hope he's tracking Reguilon back. Those two are just going to be watching each other the whole game. Lamptey will go that way, Reguilon will watch him. Reguilon will go that way. It's whoever plays best out of them two, I think will win that game tomorrow night. And I think Reguilon's fully fit now. Or maybe I'm just doing it to give you both a chance. Who knows? But
yeah, and hopefully,
How smug is that?
And hopefully over the next few months, Sessegnon comes on. You know what I mean? Hopefully, Conte can get Sessegnon to kick on and all that, because that would be another kind of feather in our cap if Sessegnon can give Reguilon lots of competition.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But gentlemen, thank you very much again for tonight. Kirst, we wish you all the best. Obviously, ill with COVID at the minute, but you'll be back on soon.
Get well soon.
Jacob, I'm sure, is back on at the end of February once he's back to day shifts and not on his night shifts. So we'll be back to a full team come then. But Alan, you want to let us know where we can find you?
You can find me on here every Friday night talking Spurs. There's me Twitter handle. I always get the wrong side. Alan R. Clark 3. You can find me on Igal's prediction channel, prediction show every Thursday. We're changing around a bit because of different fixtures, but normally on a Thursday. But you can find me on there. You can also find me on the Comedy Spurs podcast every once a month, talking everything Spurs on there as well. We just done one this week, didn't we? Was that previous week?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the Coys.com podcast is on a hiatus at the minute.
Okay.
For a few, well, as long as Dan needs it to be. He's got a lot of obligations to fill at the minute. Fair
enough.
Podcast, but fingers crossed back at some point.
And then on the terrace as well, after every Spurs game, either ranting and raving or saying, yeah, no, we're going to get top 4. Depends on how we play at that time. So that's where people can find me.
Thank you, Alan. Mark, will you let us know where we can find you?
Yeah, well, I've got a life, so I'm not on as many podcasts. You know what I mean? I actually got a life. You know, I sit down with my wife and the kids. I actually do things, you know. So I'm here with you, Ryan. You know what I mean? You're the only one that can really afford me. So yeah, no, I'm just.
So what brown nose?
Yeah, you love it though, you know. Is it brown? Is it brown?
It is brown.
There you go.
Brown.
Leave me
I knew that was happening.
So no, you can find me every Friday. Listen, I'm on Twitter, but I'll be honest, I've been so busy lately. I haven't been sharing a lot on Twitter, but that's the only place I am. And catch me every Friday. And come on, you Spurs. You know what? Second part of the season, top 4. We're going to do it this year.
Yes, fingers crossed. And Mark, we will pay your contract demands any week. Not a problem for this show.
Absolutely, pal.
But gentlemen, as always, it's just bugging me out a bit. Let me just sort it out. It's hurting my I can't get used to it.
You just can't have somebody as good looking as me next to you, can you? Because it puts you off. Like you got to have ugly versus ugly.
Hold on, let me just sort.
Oh, there we. Yeah.
Actually, I'm the same as Alan. I like it. Oh, yeah, it's not bad down here. Actually, look at all this. Plenty of space. Right. Thank you both again. Thank you to everyone who watched. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to First 11. We will be back 10 o'clock, 5 past 10 due to Alan's lateness next Friday.